In 2002, a kid from the island of Madeira was earning €1,500 a week. Today, that exact same man earns $670,000 every single day. That's a 12,000-fold increase across 23 years. This isn't a footballer's wage curve. This is the economic history of one man who rewrote the rules of an entire sport. His father worked as a gardener and a municipal worker. The family lived crammed into a small home. At 14, he dropped out of school to give football everything. A decision that looks brilliant in hindsight, but back then was a full bet on an uncertain future. Sporting Lisbon spotted the talent and brought him into their academy. Nobody watching that skinny teenager had any idea they were looking at the man who, 20 years later, would become the first billionaire in the history of team sport. At 18, the move to Manchester United. That's where the player the entire world would come to know was actually forged. When he returned to the club in 2021, his salary sat around £45 million a year. At Juventus, roughly $49 million. Every transfer didn't just change his team. Every transfer multiplied his fortune. But the real explosion didn't happen on a football pitch at all. In late 2022, Ronaldo moved to Riyadh. His Al Nassr contract brought in roughly €200 million a year. Here's the detail most people completely miss. Saudi Arabia charges zero personal income tax. That exact same contract at a European club would have lost 45 to 52% to taxes. That's tens of millions of dollars a year, purely down to geography. That single detail accelerated his path to becoming a billionaire faster than any European contract ever could have. In June 2025, Ronaldo officially became the first active team sport athlete in history to cross $1 billion in net worth. His extended Al Nassr deal is valued at $620 million and includes a 15% ownership stake in the club. According to Forbes, his total earnings in 2026 hit $300 million, his fourth consecutive year as the highest-paid athlete on the entire planet. $235 million of that came from football. The remaining $65 million has nothing to do with football at all. His lifetime Nike deal alone is valued at over $1 billion. The CR7 brand, clothing, fragrance, a hotel chain, a chain of gyms, a 50-50 partnership with the Pestina Hotel Group. Nearly 40% of his total income now comes not from goals scored, but from a business built around his own name. The boy from that cramped house in Madeira didn't just become a footballer with money. He became an entrepreneur who happened to have extraordinary talent for football. By the time he retires, Forbes projects his total career earnings will surpass $2 billion, a number no footballer in history has come close to. 971 career goals, 5 Ballon d'Ors, 34 trophies, but behind every one of those numbers sits a far simpler story. A 14-year-old who dropped out of school to bet everything on something that could just as easily have failed completely. From €1,500 a week to $670,000 a day. This isn't really a story about football. It's a story about how one man turned a rare talent into a global business empire, without ever stopping being the same kid from Madeira who simply refused to lose. Subscribe if you want the real stories behind how footballers become more than athletes. They become global names.